Morning, you're very welcome along to Ireland AM. It's great to have you with us.
Morning. I like that. So you like the sound you do to wake up children, isn't it? Morning.
Morning.
It is Tuesday, May 16th, and it's lovely to have you watching the show this morning.
Now, coming up next, it's the energy drink that is flying off the shelves for €15 a bottle. Insane. Later this hour, we're going to be finding out why kids and adults, some adults, are going crazy for prime drinks.
When you think about it, you know, sometimes when you see someone buying a cocktail for €15, I'm like, you're mad. You know what I mean? Like how much we spend on alcoholic beverage. Anyway, we'll be chatting about it in just a little while. Every group, we think, we've done scientific research in the studio here, has a friend known as the late one. Don't look at me. Stop looking at me. Look over there. But why do some people struggle? It's a struggle, Tommy. Struggle so much with their punctuality. Later this hour, we're going to be delving into the psychology of tardiness.
And is it
clock watcher?
Is it rude?
Clock watcher.
Is it rude to be late? Also on the show, he's the Belfast comedian whose fans include the likes of Anton Deck, no less. We're going to be meeting the rising star that is Paddy Raff. He's going to be here at 9:20.
And by all accounts, Derek has his Speedos standing by today. You have been warned. We don't know what time it's going to happen at, but we're assured it's going to happen. So, Derek, what are you up to today?
Yeah, I'm wearing, you know what, it's going to be like the Met Gala of swimwear down here this morning. And we couldn't have picked a better morning to go see swimming. We're down here at the 40-foot in Sandycove. It's a dry, bright and settled start, guys, with plenty of sunshine on the cars. A bit of cloud cover through parts of the northeast. But we're here, as I mentioned, at the 40-foot. We're talking all things men's mental health this morning because we're off to meet a bunch of lads who go swimming to help clear their headspace. So the main question is, guys, should we go green or should we go blue? Well, blue and green should never be seen. I don't get paid enough for this.
Can we do a megaphone? Can we get people?
Well, I gather the name of the group are called the Blue Balls as well, Derek. So I think you're going to have to go for blue.
Tommy. Steady.
Blue.
Steady the ship.
That's the name of the group. Good on you.
We had to wait until Alan Hughes was not on the show before we actually did this. Put it that way. It's going to be good.
Because he would have been too excited. Now let's get the news over to you, Cleona Russell.
Thanks, Tommy. Good morning. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar will travel to Iceland today to attend a Council of Europe summit. The gathering will agree to establish a register of damage of the war in Ukraine, a step to ensuring Russia is one day held responsible for the harm it's inflicted on the people of Ukraine. The Council of Europe was founded in the wake of the Second World War and has only met at summit level on 3 occasions, which the Taoiseach says shows the significance of this meeting. Gardaí are appealing for witnesses following the deaths of 2 female pedestrians in separate road collisions. A woman in her 70s died after being involved in a collision with a lorry on Main Street in Charleville in County Cork yesterday afternoon. Separately, a female pedestrian aged in her 50s died after being involved in a collision with a car near Ballydoreen in County Roscommon yesterday morning. There were 1,812 complaints to the Ombudsman for Children's Office last year. Education made up almost a third of the complaints, with the other reasons including bullying, expulsion or suspension and special education resources. In more than 8 out of 10 cases, it was a parent making the complaint. The report found that on many issues, Ireland is starting to fall behind on children's rights. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived back in Ukraine following a whirlwind European tour. The president was in the UK on Monday, the 5th country he visited in the past 3 days, after Italy, the Vatican, Germany and France. He was seeking more military hardware and support as Ukraine prepares a long-anticipated spring offensive to retake territory that Russia has seized. It comes as the Pentagon confirmed it has sent tanks to Germany, where Ukrainian crews will soon begin training.
I can confirm that the 31 M1 Abrams training tanks have arrived at Grafenwehr, Germany, in preparation for subsequent training of Ukrainian tank crews. Those crews are expected to arrive and begin training within the next couple of weeks. As we've discussed previously, this extensive training program for Ukrainian crews and maintainers is intended to prepare them for their critical roles ahead in effectively operating the M1 tank and defending the Ukrainian people.
More heavy rain is expected in Croatia today as emergency services try to deal with extensive flooding in parts of the country. Emergency crews said they were bringing food to people stuck in their homes.
Hundreds of soldiers have been deployed in Croatia to help those worst affected by the flooding. Heavy rain in parts of the country on the border with Bosnia in recent days caused some rivers to burst their banks. Homes have been flooded, as have roads and public buildings in many towns. Some people have been trapped in the upper parts of their homes, with the army deployed to deliver food and water. An estimated 300 troops have been deployed. They're also trying to help improve flood defences in the area. The Croatian government is promising all necessary funding and aid. Floods were also reported downstream in northwestern Bosnia, with meteorologists forecasting more heavy rain in the region in the coming days. Marie Mulcahy, Virgin Media News.
The final preparations are underway for one of the biggest events in the film world. The Cannes Film Festival kicks off today with a French historical drama that marks a comeback for Johnny Depp. Other big movies that will premiere at this year's festival include Martin Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, starring Harrison Ford in his final performance as the character.
We compare 14 insurance quotes to get you the best deal. So choose chill and work smarter, not harder.
Thank you, Jaron. A very good morning. We're live here just along the Irish coast. We're down here in Sandy Cove in South County Dublin this morning at the 40 foot. We're off to meet a bunch of men. We're talking all things men's mental health, in fact, this Tuesday. So that's all to come in the next wee while with a guaranteed dip in the water as well. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's pull back the curtains now on your Tuesday morning. We're on to the 16th of May. Oisin Moran with us on cameras here this morning. And as you can see over my shoulder, a beautiful sunrise here onto the east coast. And in fact, many of us waking up to some really nice May rays now as we open up the start of the day in those light to locally moderate northwesterly breezes. Now, right across the day, in fact, we're going to see a little bit of cloud cover to parts of northern areas. And in fact, a couple of light showers scraping around, but elsewhere, in fact, that ridge of high pressure is hanging on with us. So it's mainly dry, settled, good, with good bright spells on the cars. Top temps in and around 14 to 18 degrees, so another mild day out there. And across into tonight, again, it's going to be mainly clear and settled. Those conditions then carrying through into tomorrow morning with overnight lows, as those winds veer light to the west, with values there back to around 3 to 8 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up for now in a sunny Sandy Cove down here in South County Dublin. We'll be back again live at 7:35.
Chill Insurance work harder so you can work smarter. We compare 14 quotes to get you the best deal.
Now, it was released on the market back in about January, February, amongst a whole load of promotion. It's the YouTube energy drink created by two YouTubers that's flying off the shelves for between 15 and 18 euro a bottle. I mean, it's a bottle of Lucozade, right? Have you splashed out on a bottle of Prime?
This isn't an advertising feature, by the way.
No, it's absolutely not. But have you splashed out in a bottle of Prime? Or maybe you've been pestered by one of your children to buy it, because the marketing behind this is just genius. We'd love to hear what you make of the Prime stuff. It's 0896 111 111.
Yeah, after break, we are going to be discussing the fad around Prime drinks and should they come with a health warning. See you back here in a few minutes. Now, if you're a parent, it's likely you've heard of the energy drink that is Prime. That seems to be just absolute gold dust in supermarkets.
This is fascinating. When I first saw that it hit Ireland shelf, I just saw these queues outside supermarkets for this drink. And here to discuss the Prime pandemonium, along with the nutritional value of energy drinks in general and their effects on young people, are Irish Times columnist Jen Hogan, emergency medicine consultant Dr. Mick Molloy, and dietitian and public health nutritionist Professor Amelia Lake. Thank you all so much for being here. It's lovely to have this. Listen, Jen, this happens every once in a while. I remember with Red Bull and with Powerade and everything, we were like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. These are incredibly popular. Logan Paul, big YouTuber, KSI, and the marketing around them is amazing. What is it like for... You've got young people in your house. Are they mad for this stuff?
They're mad for... No, I don't allow them have it. I am big bad mammy who doesn't allow them have it, but they're very, very aware of it. And I suppose they're bombarded with it because I suppose kids are watching YouTube all the time. Now, they don't watch television the way maybe we did growing up. It's all about kind of online screens that they're watching, and with YouTube in particular, they just have that opportunity to bombard kids the way they do. And it's everywhere. Like, I asked parents about this and I couldn't believe. I thought, oh, is it that big a deal, really? I suppose because I had kind of said, no, it's not coming into the house, no sports drinks allowed and you're only kids. And I asked parents about it, and I was bombarded with the amount of responses that I got, who said, parents saying it's a huge problem. They feel this real pressure to go ahead and buy this drink for their children, so they're not the ones on the outside, kind of on the periphery of friendship groups. One parent even reporting that her daughter was left out and told she couldn't play with other kids because she didn't have the right drink, and that it had got... I know I'm looking at your face, Tommy, but it had got as mad as that. It's insane.
It's not about the nutrition, about the actual flavour of it. It's like a trophy.
Yeah.
So it's like these kids, they carry empty bottles almost. They stack them up at home and stuff as well. But I was looking online, like, you can buy these for £2 recommended retail price in the UK. I think they're in Dunn's for around just over €2 as well at one stage. But they're selling for around 15 to €18. Like, it's putting serious pressure on families, particularly in a cost of living crisis.
Serious pressure on families, and parents try to argue this back with children, obviously. I know parents are the parents, but they're having these conversations, trying to, make their children realise, and the kids are going, but what if we save up our pocket money, and what if
It's not on for the retailers, like, who were up in front of the Oireachtas last week, that they are hiking up this price by so much.
For a drink. For, like, an
energy drink.
An energy drink. Like, it's crazy. And yet, obviously, people are willing to pay it, or else the price couldn't be as high as it is. But they are. They're still buying it, and kids are saving up and buying it, or whether they're buying it out communion money, or confirmation money, or pocket money, or whatever it is. Prime is the thing to get.
I don't mean to laugh, but you just buy a bike or something, lads.
Your bottle of Prime
energy drink. I love the age.
Get a bike for the same price.
We'd love to hear from you. It's 089 611 111 if this is an issue in your house. Amelia, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, as a nutritionist, these energy drinks, there's sugar-free, there's hydration, energy drinks. Is there nutritional value in them at all?
No, and they have no place whatsoever in the diet of children. So there is no nutritional value. This is part of a growing trend. The energy drink market is the fastest growing sector in the soft drink market. And I think this drink in particular is quite interesting because it launched more as a kind of a sports drink, again, not suitable for children. And now it has brought in the caffeinated version, which has 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is an awful lot of caffeine to be putting into a body of a child, where we know that it is harmful. So therefore, no, these drinks do not have a place in their diet. There is no energy to be gained. Energy comes from food, not from drinks like these.
But we see, like, listen, I have done promotion for the likes of Powerade and Red Bull and things in the past. Is there any difference, Amelia, between these drinks and big brands that we see in every petrol station and shop that we go past?
No, I would say that broad brush, anything that is labelled as an energy drink, which has caffeine in it, is not suitable for children. If you read the label on the back, it will say it's not suitable for children, pregnant, or women who are breastfeeding. So we very clearly know. However, the marketing phenomenon, not just of this one that we're talking about, but all those energy drinks, they appeal to children, to young people. They're associated with everything that's cool and that you want to be part of, from extreme sports to music. It's a massive phenomenon, and yet if you look carefully, it actually says it's not suitable. And then when we do our research and we talk to children and young people, they ask us, well, why are we being sold them? If it says it's not suitable, why are you selling them to us? And I think that's really clear.
Mick, we have to bring you in here. You work in emergency medicine. I'm looking at these. It says gluten-free. It's got all these things that make it like gluten-free in a drink. It's crazy.
Hard.
What effects are these having on the body, and what do you think we're going to see as long-term effects? Because it's the biggest growing market.
So I suppose in basic terms, I mean, the more you use these, you're on a race to poor health for a start. The high energy content, the high caffeine content, and the caffeine itself, while it has an immediate effect on raising heart rate, raising blood pressure, makes people irritable, but for young children, it affects your sleeping patterns. So they're not going to sleep properly, which then affects the next day and the next day on. The drinks that they are, we have this amazing resource in probably every house in the country where you turn it and water comes out. If we could just use the water instead, that's all kids need to hydrate for sports.
It's not cool though.
Because there was an article in the UK at the minute about a school in Wales where people, they say, suffered a cardiac episode from drinking a prime drink. So for young kids to be taking a high dose of caffeine surely cannot be a positive thing. I mean, it's meant to be for over 16-year-olds, but we're seeing young kids the age of 12 saving up their community money to buy these things. Like, it's not good for parents to be, and for retailers and shops to be actually selling them.
I don't think there's many of us, like each of those drinks is probably the equivalent of 6 cups of coffee. I don't think there's many of us would give a kid 6 cups of coffee and then a few minutes later say, would you like another one? And yet, with the marketing that's happening, the marketing seems to be very, very effective.
Yeah.
Because I know you rang yesterday about this particular episode, and I spoke to my 2 young fellas last night who would do a lot of YouTubing as well, and they said, oh, yeah. Now, they don't buy it because they don't see it, but if they had seen it, they said, oh, yeah, I'd get it because of the advertising. It's so pervasive. They get such an impact from the advertising.
Yeah, and but then what do we do? Because we all know that water is the best thing that you can use for hydration, but I grew up with my grandmother always having a bottle of Lucozade in the house for the glucose or whatever you need. So, like, are we hearing mixed messaging, and how do we tell parents, okay, so you give your kid this, they're going to get irritable, they're going to make your life a nightmare a little bit more as well, because they do, right? But they get all hyper.
If you think about it from a marketing perspective, there's nobody that makes money from saying drink water.
Yeah.
And there are lots of companies now, and you've mentioned quite a few of the brands, who are here to make money from the various forms of energy drinks. So realistically, if we go back to primary school, it's about getting kids good health modules and good education about what is nutrition, what is health, what is bad for health. Because if you start off like this at that age and you start putting on like half a pound over a month, within 2 or 3 years, you've got children who are 20 pounds overweight, 30 pounds overweight, which is significant at that growing developmental stage. Okay. Because it's excess energy they don't need.
But we know as a parent it is difficult.
There is, and one of the things that is difficult for parents, particularly about this drink, because they're having these discussions with their parents, is there's a version, isn't there, that's sugar-free and caffeine-free.
Yes.
And for that, therefore, when kids are having this conversation with their parents going, there's nothing in it, and as Mick says, there's water in the tap, like you're being, it's huge money to pay for your flavoured water or whatever other ingredients are in there. But it's very hard for parents then who feel the pressure and they're going, well, why am I saying no? Because normally I'd argue, well, I'm not giving you 6 espressos, or I'm not giving you high sugar content or high drinks with high sugar content, and these drinks say they don't have it. And I suppose it is that slippery slope, isn't it? That's what you're worried about.
But is it faking it, going, okay, you keep the bottle, you wash it out, and then you put in a bit of my water or a bit of water and go, there you go. Like, you know, because if it's all about how it looks, half the kids probably don't like how it tastes.
Yeah, well, you know, I remember there was one occasion one of my kids came home with it. It had been given out at a party, actually, and he came home and literally everybody else descended going, he has the drink, you know, he's got the drink. And there was this huge novelty, like it was, even though they hadn't had it before, it was the whole idea, it's in the house, like he has the drink. There was great excitement about it. I don't know if they'd share it or not and find out.
We all grew up with these.
Sorry, Amelia.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, I was just going to say the other version, the one that doesn't contain caffeine, contains other additives. And actually, we have very little research about the effect of those additives on children. Yeah. So potentially, similar to caffeine, those additives may be having effects on our metabolic rate. They may be having an effect on children's sleep pattern. So actually, there's a lot we don't know about a lot of the additives. And this now links into the argument we're having about ultra-processed food. Yeah. So I would completely agree, get that tap open and drink that water.
OK, well, listen, we'd love to hear from people at home on this. 0896 111 111. Are your kids doing your head in trying to get hold of a prime drink. We'd love to know what your thoughts on it. Jen Hogan from the Irish Times, thank you so much for joining us as well. Dietitian and public health nutritionist, Professor Amelia Lake, thank you for joining us as well this morning. And Dr. Mick Molloy, great to have you with us as always.
We couldn't have poor Logan Paul or KSI going on talking about how great it is. It's terrible. We'll ask them to do that. Right of reply. Still to come this hour, we'll be taking a look at the top stories making your morning's newspapers.
Plus, lots more we've got coming up after the break. See you shortly. You're very welcome back. Time now to take a look at this morning's paper, starting with the Irish Times. Its headline, State warns of growing reluctance to house refugees. The Department of Integration privately warned that officials were seeing reluctance to accommodate more Ukrainian refugees as the government scrambled to find shelter for 520 asylum seekers.
The Examiner's front page, no plan to cope with violent marches. Frontline Gardaí say they are being told to go out and do your best when dealing with far-right groups engaged in anti-immigration.
Not enough Gardaí on the street to combat attacks, according to the Taoiseach. That's the top story on the Daily Mail.
The Herald goes with Gardaí suspect female pal set up Canary hit. Detectives are investigating whether a female associate of Gary the Canary Carey was involved in setting up the Dublin criminal to be murdered. The woman was one of 4 people arrested yesterday by investigators.
The Mirror goes with Matt, I was a proper Charlie. The Taoiseach's partner has said sorry for the Instagram joke made during King Charles's coronation.
The Sun leads with Larry twisted trophies. A close female friend has told Gardaí the hated psycho would have stored hidden trophies from the women he attacked in an obvious but clever place.
The Star leads with Kinahan still shadowboxing. Experts warn brazen Daniel Kinahan still exerts control on the sport from the shadows despite being the focus of a global manhunt.
And finally, drinks giants fight Irish plan to put cancer labels on bottles. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. European wine, beer and spirits makers are stepping up their actions to try and block Ireland's alcohol packaging plan. Spirits Europe and Brewers Europe have lodged official complaints claiming proposals will damage the EU single market. For a closer look at some of this morning's top stories, we are joined by Bauer Media's political correspondent, Seán Defoe. Good morning, Seán.
Hey, Seán.
We're starting with that first story, and this is the drinks giant. We were just talking about
energy drinks
and what's going on with labelling there, and now it's alcohol and putting on cancer labels.
There should be a tax on sugar, personally, what I think, as ahead of the alcohol one.
There is a tax on sugar.
No, a tax labels on the sugar.
The tax labels on them.
Yeah, and the damage that this can do as well as alcohol. Sorry, that's another issue. Tell us about the alcohol.
As well as your
apologies.
Yeah. So this is kind of one I didn't know. Maybe I'm bad for not knowing this, but they want to put cancer labels on bottles the same as the cigarette packets.
Yeah.
And I didn't think there was that much of a risk when it came to cancer and alcohol, or certainly not nearly in the realm of cigarettes. But just a quick look on the HSE website there, and it is a direct cause of 7 forms of cancer. And when you look into, because we all know about the other deaths that are associated with cancer, or with the alcohol rather, because it is a big pressure on the health system. They reckon 4 people in Ireland every single day die of some sort of alcohol-related disease, be it either cancer or because they got too drunk and got some sort of an incident or whatever it is. Those figures from Alcohol Action Ireland. So it is quite a big one. And it's interesting to watch the lobby from the alcohol side are not arguing the health thing. They're arguing a single market thing, that it will make it more difficult basically for people to import into Ireland, that if you had, say, a small craft beer brewer or a small winery, they're just going to not bother sending their stuff to Ireland because it would mean reproducing different labels with these warnings on them, potentially some of those very graphic images that we've seen. So that's sort of the warning that's come, but it looks as though the Oireachtas is planning ahead, and they've actually got EU approval already from to do this as a single country rather than doing it as a whole block.
That's it. They've said a lot of French producers and stuff will just discard the Irish market because it's not worth the pain. And I mean, for the likes of even big brands like Guinness or Jameson or whatever else, like for them to print specific labels just for Ireland,
they're not gonna.
It's gonna hike the price up even more. Like we're already seeing the prices of everything in Ireland be extortionate compared to our neighbours. But this is going to be a different level.
Yeah, well, it's certainly going to change it. And then you wonder, how far does that legislation go? So if you're a big exporter like Jameson, you have to do all your bottles in Ireland differently and then export it. You could buy it in maybe the duty-free without the sticker, and then you could buy it,
But per capita, like once they get us in, we're long-term users of alcohol. Like we're worth a lot of money to them over time in comparison to other countries. Not all other countries. There's other European countries who drink more than us. But there are issues about this also, I suppose. whether this then puts pressure on other countries to do it as well.
Well, that's the thing. And
That's
what
what
a lot
they
of the drinks lobby is arguing is that, well, let's just wait until the entire EU does it, hoping that it won't pass in the EU. And because 13 countries objected to Ireland doing it alone, let alone doing it as an entire bloc, then you wonder where does it go in terms of pubs? Because obviously when, you know, there is... all cigarettes now have to be hidden when they're sold in the shops, and then the warnings are on the labels. Do you have to put it on the pint on the when you're going to pull it? By the way, warning.
But you also have to,
on the taps.
But you have to put on all the things. Like you have to go, you know, drink cycling, drink driving. Like does everything have to come up on it? You know what I mean?
On the pint glasses.
On absolutely
you
everything.
Get past your first 2 sips and you see a label.
Again, 0896 111 111. Do you think we're going a little bit too far on that, or do you think it's a legitimate one? We'd love to hear from you on that. Now let's move on to this new one. Simon Harris wants to increase the wage in apprenticeships.
Fairly understandably, because the starting wage is $6.84 an hour for a first-year apprentice, which good luck living on $6.84 an hour at the moment, you know. And there is also the warning from the government that they've been saying for a while, we need more than 50,000 new apprentices just to meet housing demand. Housing demand alone, you know, that's without getting into all the other areas. In fairness, the government has really expanded the number of different apprenticeships in the last while as sort of an alternative route to college for people who, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, just can't afford college anymore. Not
Big time.
because of college, but because of the rent associated. Like I know if I was starting today, I wouldn't be able to come up to Dublin and go to university because I wouldn't
But
get
to
an
become an apprentice, I mean, the money that like electricians, plumbers and stuff can charge now because there's such a shortage of them.
But there is an argument here that an awful lot of firms who take on apprentices are like, well, we are teaching a skill. They're not getting paid in college to learn the skill to be a teacher, so we cannot afford to pay them the national minimum wage because a lot of them don't know what they're doing for a couple of years.
Yeah, so
that's an
where,
argument.
That's where the government subsidises them effectively, and there is subsidy. The subsidies increase if it is people from particular backgrounds, try and get more diversity into certain trades, but also if they are particularly high-skilled trades, there is that extra subsidy. So Simon Harris now talking about maybe increasing that in the budget, trying to get more apprentices in, because one of the big problems, and you always hear it in the political debate, when people are like, throw money at housing, all this big surplus, throw it at housing. There isn't enough people in the housing sector to build all those extra houses that you could just throw money at. Department of Housing can't spend its own budget at the moment, for God's sake, you know. So that is going to be really, really key over the next few years.
Makes a lot of sense, absolutely, to do that. Again, are you thinking about joining the apprenticeship trade? But for that sort of figure, I mean, it wouldn't make it worthwhile.
You're like, 0896 111 111.
Listen, just finally, we'll finish up with, so most people aim to retire by 60, but it's not going to happen, really, is it?
It's so depressing, isn't it? Like, you just can't.
Would you want to retire at 60, though?
100%. I'd want to retire at 50. Give me 40 if you want. 100%.
Would you?
Yeah.
I love what you do.
Ideal, I love what I do, but my ideal would be tip away to 2 or 3 days a week and relax the rest. I think we've got the whole balance
That's what you do anyway.
I've just been totally found out.
Says me, who works 4 days a week on this one.
Yeah, you've got the dream. I don't know what you're talking about here. Most people retire, and it's interesting, more men, about twice the amount of men would prefer to retire early than women, which is sort of thought interesting. But 8% then don't want to retire at all. Just want to keep on working for forever.
But there's more. Once a woman retires, she's got so much, you know, it's housework again. You're just like, whatever. And you want to given up a lot of time to having kids, all that kind of stuff. You kind of want to be out
work
in the world.
is the distraction, isn't it?
Or we'll all just start playing golf like ye. And then we'll be mad to retire, won't we?
Lots of female golfers out there, too.
Sure, I know. 0896 111 111. And we didn't get to the chat with Matt apologising for taking all the pictures
proper
at the coronation, which is just fascinating. What do you think about what he did? 0896 111 111, putting up pictures on Instagram, kind of slagging the coronation in the UK. Seán Defoe, it's a pleasure having you. Go off, and what's he doing for the rest of the day?
I think this is one of my days off. Is
that one of his days off? That's it.
Probably right.
Thanks a million, Seán.
Thank you so much for that. Now, coming up next, we're going to discuss why are some people always late?
We'll talk to you very shortly. It is. It's me. I know. Why do you have to do that?
Are you late, Seán? You're very welcome back. Now, we all know someone who is late for everything. She's sitting right beside me, but what's the psychology behind this? Is it a habit?
He'd be rushing you. He'd be like, come on, let's go, let's go. Joining us to discuss our Trudy Meehan lecturer in positive psychology at the Royal College of Surgeons, and Grace Pacie, author of Late, a Timebender's Guide to Why We Are Late and How to Change. There we go. This is what you want in your life. Thank you both so much for joining us. Trudy, is being late pathological? Is there nothing that we can do about it? No, obviously not.
It's not pathological. There is things we can do about it, and I think my question would be, should we do something about it?
Do you think we should do something about it?
I think we need to look at both sides. I think we have become pathological about being on time, and the world is becoming very overburdened and overstressed. So we need to kind of think about how we think about time and how we use our time.
But is it
hold on, can I just settle something here? Would you describe yourself as a late person?
I am occasionally. I am late for social situations, but not for professional situations.
I can see him going straight to Grace here now.
Grace, would you describe yourself as a late person?
I'm afraid I would. I've tried all my life to be on time, and that's why I wrote my book.
And Warren here would describe herself as a late person. So we've got three here on to discuss why it's all fine.
Oh my God,
is
it gendered? It's all women.
Now, I have to say, I used to be a late person, but the sport drilled into me timekeeping that if you're not 5 minutes before a meeting started, you were late.
Exactly.
So you can change.
Definitely. And it's really interesting that it was through sport that you changed, because keeping time relies on attention and memory, but it also relies on the movement parts of our brain, because time is essentially like keeping pace. So I wonder if being involved in sport helps in a way.
But as you said, I was mentioning there, 'cause there's three of us women here who all say that we are tardy people. Is it gendered?
In a way, it can be.
Right.
Because in fairness, most of the time, and it's not all the time, but women tend to have more burden of care. We have more burden in terms of how long it takes to get ready. There's greater expectations.
Now,
we can't all wake up looking like this, my friend.
Grace, you were shaking your head there. You don't believe it's gendered?
I'm going to tell you, you're born that way. There's about 20% of the population have a problem with time. That's why I call it time bending, because the word late is very negative and it says that's the main thing about you. But there's lots more. We are a much broader personality type, and we're very good in certain jobs, and we can be on time when it matters, which was why it was interesting to hear that maybe you're late for friends but not for business meetings or interviews.
So that what does that say to you, Grace, when Trudy says something like that? So when it's professional, always there, but when it's social situations, we've got a bit of time.
Well, sadly, I have discovered that we can be on time when it matters, and we tend not to be aware of the fact that if there's a real external deadline with consequences, we will be on time, and when there isn't, we won't. And in the course of my research, realizing that there are one set of people we're always late for, and those are our family and friends. I mean, we tend to say, I can be on time when it matters. I'm not a late person, but actually we are late. We say, we are late for the people who matter to us the most, which is not what we want to do.
No.
So sorry to all those friends and family out there.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, everybody can be on time if they want to. So if you're going to be late for friends or family, is that a lack of respect? Is that rude because your time is more important than theirs?
I would say categorically no. And the reason, and it's really interesting that Grace talks about 20% of people are late. About 20% of the population are neurodivergent. So that's people with ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism, people who are autistic. And one of the things, especially for people with ADHD, is we have executive functioning difficulties. So that's planning, organising, and a thing called time blindness, which makes tracking time really difficult.
Okay.
So when you have to do it professionally for work, and so it's like having an extra task to do. So I have to concentrate extra hard to be on time because of ADHD. So then at the weekends or in the evenings, I'm exhausted from keeping track and like doing the extra labour to keep up. So it's not intentional and it's not disrespect. It's just I can't keep that level of focus going 7 days a week, 24/7.
Don't make an appointment then to meet someone.
But you have to, But you see, the thing is, have things changed a little bit, Grace? Because we live in a world where we have these devices in our pockets that are like, I'm running 10 minutes late. Whereas previously, if you were meeting someone, I'll meet you outside Todd's at 12 o'clock and you had to be there. Otherwise, you didn't meet that person.
That's true. Phoning or sending a text and saying, sorry, I'm going to be 5 minutes or 10 minutes late is a great solution. But we're very good at finding and even believing our own excuses. The truth is we are late because we didn't leave home early enough. And why was that? Well, it's because we don't like finishing things, and we don't like. So classic thing is, I'll just do one more thing before I leave. I'll just empty the dishwasher or whatever. We just don't really like being early. And once we see how we're behaving, it does help us to maybe find tricks into making ways of putting us on time. But deep down, we don't like being late, but we struggle with it, and we will always be 5 minutes late for a deadline unless there's a really good reason.
We're trying to find. We've got one more thing to do before we go out, and 5 minutes to get ready, an hour to get ready.
Listen, I'll just sit there tapping.
0896 111. We'd love to hear from you. I've been 24 hours late for a flight before, so we'd love to hear from you. It's been a pleasure having you, Trudy Meehan, and also Grace. Your book is there. It's called Late: A Timebender's Guide as to why we were late and how to change. Thank you both so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks
Thank you.
much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Still plenty to come here on Ireland Day. We'll see you back after this short break.
We're late. We're on time to stand in front of you and very proud. You're very welcome back to Tuesday's Ireland AM.
Coming up very shortly, Inside the Hospice continues tonight on Virgin Media 1 at 9 o'clock, but at 8:15 we're going to be hearing one family's experience with hospice care in Ireland.
Yeah, it's really beautiful programme for anyone who's been within the hospice system or not.
It's tearjerker, but it's really nice to see.
But seeing the insights to it, it's fantastic. Looking forward to that one also on the show. He's a rising star on the comedy scene. Are you a groupie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're both groupies, actually. We're mad about him. After 9, we're going to be meeting the Belfast comedian Paddy Raff.
Plus, it's historically known to heal wounds, help digestion and soothe a sore throat.
Oh, yeah.
Phoebe Foran will be here to tell us about the benefits of herbal honey.
But now it's over to our Jack O'Keefe in the kitchen. Hello, Jack.
What's the story? Happy Tuesday.
I can't believe you've got any nachos left. What are you up to?
I'm just covered here in cheese dust all over my chin.
Cheese dust.
Yeah, it's not foundation, cheese. It's cheese dust after nachos.
We've been giving out about the health benefits of drinks, of alcohol, of sugary drinks, but we're going to be talking about nachos.
Look, I'm a shining light in the culinary world of nutrition.
Okay.
More butter, more better.
What are we doing?
We're doing beef-loaded nachos. Bang them into the oven, cover them in melted cheese.
There you go.
Okay, good healthy one for a Tuesday morning. Look forward to that, Jack. Thank you very much. Now from a dirty Traybake in Ballymount to Blue Balls in Dunleary. Is he in the water yet, Derek?
Yeah, well, not yet, guys, but I'll tell you, it's a real festival atmosphere down here at the 40-foot Sandy Cove in South County Dublin. Dean Smith from Off-Grid Recovery and Wellness is with us. Dean, tell us about the centre down in Bray.
Yeah, good morning. So, the centre located out in Bray specialises in all things recovery and well-being. We have private saunas, ice baths, we facilitate for yoga, Pilates, and in all things mental health and well-being.
And you link in with the lads here as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have an affiliation with the Blue Balls Ireland Group. We provide a space for every month for the lads to come down and drop out of the mind and body a little bit, create a safe space for men to be able to talk and connect to other people in the same.
All right, you're going to be getting in a little bit later on.
Oh, absolutely, am indeed.
All right, we got the togs at the ready. Back to you guys in studio. Look at all the people down here this morning. I can't get over it.
It's such a
Happy Tuesday.
Brilliantly named group. You know when you see hairdressers called Curl Up and Die or something, the Blue Balls group, and they jump into the Irish Sea.
Says what it is.
It does. Yeah, give us those business names that you love. 0896 111 111. Yeah.
Now let's take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline: State warns of growing reluctance to house refugees. The Department of Integration privately warned that officials were seeing a reluctance to accommodate more Ukrainian refugees as the government scrambled to find shelter for 520 asylum seekers.
The Examiner's front page: no plan to cope with violent marches. Frontline Gardaí say they are being told to go out and do your best when dealing with far-right groups engaged in anti-immigration protests. The Garda Representative Association says there was a lack of confidence amongst members in response to the scenes that marred Dublin at the weekend.
Not enough Gardaí on the street to combat attacks, according to the Taoiseach. That's the top story on the Daily Mail.
The Herald front page: Gardaí suspect female pal set up canary hit. Detectives are investigating whether a female associated of Gary the Canary Carey was involved in setting up the Dublin criminal to be murdered.
The Mayor goes with Matt. I was a proper Charlie. The Taoiseach's partner has said sorry for the Instagram joke made during King Charles's coronation.
The Sun leads with Larry Twisted Trophies. A close female friend has told Gardaí the hated psycho, Larry Murphy, would have stored hidden trophies from the woman he attacked in an obvious but clever place.
The Start leads with Kinahan still shadowboxing. Experts warn brazen Daniel Kinahan still exerts control on the sport from the shadows despite being the focus of a global manhunt.
And finally, drinks giants fight plan to put cancer labels on Irish bottles. So that's the front page of the Irish Independent. European wine, beer and spirit makers are stepping up their actions to try and block Ireland's alcohol packaging plan.
Now, in a different form of drinks, we were talking about the
drinks today.
Energy drink Prime earlier. We had a dietitian doctor, Jen Hogan, of course, a parent, talking about the pressure by kids and the price that they have to pay, up to 15 to 16 euro for a bottle. Noel says it's absolute madness that they can charge 15 euro for a drink. Prime is only $2 in America. They wouldn't get away with charging that if it was just a bottle of Lucozade. Why is it any different with Prime?
Marketing. It's like the same as handbags. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well,
why
if
is
the
that
demand
£8
is
grand?
there.
And the demand is there, absolutely. Anna, my 23-year-old son paid 16 euro for a bottle of that stuff. He left the empty bottle in his room. I took it and washed it because my younger son wanted one. I filled it with water and put flavouring in it. I gave it to him and he was happy out. Later he asked me why everyone was going mad for the drink. He said it tasted just like water and told me not to buy it for him again. Problem solved.
Well done.
Anna.
I just think, though, whenever like the supermarkets and all were up in front of the government last week about price gouging, and they said, "Oh, we'll take 10 cent off our slice pan," and then they're going and putting extortionate prices on that. I just think it's absolutely
But
madness.
everything from that supermarket, nothing came out of it.
Nothing came out of it. Absolutely not. And certainly Prime is a show of that as well. We were also talking about lateness. And in a recent survey, 40% of workers admitted to being late for work, with being stuck in traffic ranked as its top excuse. But actually what we realised from the chat about this was it's just that they were at home and there was a few other jobs that they wanted to do before actually going.
No, they were saying that it's habitual and 20% of people are late, and it could be due to neurodivergent reasons or it could be due to other factors that they have in their life.
20%, what about the 80%?
But sure, do you think 80% of people are late?
No,
do you think it's...
say 100% of the people who are late, 20% of them was because they're neurodivergent?
No. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying they're saying 20% of people are neurodivergent, so that means that they could be people who are late.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Or they could be people who are on time.
They could be people who are on time.
Well,
there's so many different reasons. It's not lateness, it's mad.
OK, there you go. Nolene, for most habitual latecomers, the reason is bad manners. There you go. I'm always on time and spend so much time waiting for others. My time is as precious as anyone else's.
As someone who is neurodivergent, I find it extremely hard to timekeep. I think there is a fundamental misunderstanding of how this affects people. Yes, I may have left the house later than I should have, but I often don't realise this. Having just gone through Autism Awareness Month, I find it disheartening when people always think I'm being rude. When I'm late, I actually can't help it sometimes.
There you
for some
have it.
people.
I'm
a bad timekeeper. That's as simple as that. I am a bad timekeeper.
0896 111 111. Please do get in touch with anything we are discussing this morning. And you might want to talk about this one after the break. It's a Nacho Traybake in the kitchen, and I can't wait.
See you shortly.
Hello, you're very welcome back. She's got her spoon.
Ready to go.
Time to get dirty.
Don't do it properly.
says.
Do it like Christina Aguilera.
Gonna get dirty.
Yeah! It was worth it for that. Jack, what are you making?
Need my chaps.
I'm after completely losing my frame of thought.
Are you imagining him in buttless chaps right now?
I can just see him laying back with me sprinkling cheese into his mouth.
I'm remembering Christina.
Get a view in the chaps. Oh no, get out of my head.
An amazing video. Anyway, Jack,
right.
So we're getting dirty because this is like a dirty old, like, it's not the healthiest, but it's tasty.
No, it's not healthy at all. But like as I always say, when it comes to food, for me, I always believe in moderation. You know, have your little cheat meal once a week if you want, if it makes you feel better. This is, do you know the way, like on a Saturday, you might have a big dinner or a big lunch with friends. Yeah. You come home and you're watching a movie and you get peckish and you don't want to start cooking. This is the ideal meal for that. Like even a Wednesday evening, if you're like, oh, I don't want to cook anything.
Okay.
You want something quick, something easy. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Hot pan, you can see the smoke coming off of it.
Very hot, yeah.
No oil and just some normal beef mince. Now, if you do want to healthy this up, just swap that for chicken mince or turkey mince.
Okay.
You know, you can do that. the beef's own fat will render out as it's heating up in the pan, and that's what will keep it nice and moist, and it will fry it in its own fat.
So is that the high percentage meat you've got?
This one I think is kind of middle-of-the-road steak mince.
Huh?
This one's middle-of-the-road steak mince. It's not the super cheap stuff that I normally bring in.
Okay.
Right?
But you can get like low-fat mince that obviously doesn't have the same fat content, which doesn't have the same flavour.
Yeah, and you just add a little bit of oil to that then.
Okay.
So in on top of that, salt, pepper, and then we have some cumin, coriander, and garlic powder. Now you can of course open your winter supermarket and get like taco seasoning or fajita seasoning and use that if you want. But most people should always kind of have something close to these spices in there. Cumin, coriander, garlic, paprika.
Okay.
And then in your supermarket, you'll be able to find chipotle paste.
Oh, yeah.
So this is how much you put in is up to your own heat level. So for me, like...
Take it easy.
I'd go... Alan's not here, so we'd load it up.
Just about to say, you're standing in for Alan beautifully.
Right, and then I just use either a heat-proof spatula like this or a wooden spoon just to mash it down, break up the mince until it almost kind of... When it browns up, it should be the same texture as rice almost.
Right.
Oh, I'm losing pieces. You just let that cook away for about 5 to 6 minutes.
I always find it gets quite juicy whenever you're doing the mince, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's like water comes off it.
Yeah, that's the actual fat.
Okay. So do you kind of cook that away or do you pour it out?
I like the mince for this to be quite dry, almost like a Chinese meat song almost.
Oh, yum.
Okay.
And it's kind of more like a crunchy element.
Oh, is that what it's...
Chinese what?
Meat song. You're the one you get the little iceberg lettuce and you put the crispy mince inside it.
Oh, yeah, that's what they're called, right? Okay.
I'm a connoisseur of fine takeaways.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Leave that cooked down and we'll move on to the rest of the dish.
So if you don't want to have nachos, you can just put on lettuce leaves. That's a lot healthier.
There you go. Oh my God,
Perfect.
you've just healthied it up.
Right. So we'll just get the redness off of these. At home, ideally, cook the mince fully through. As I said, it takes about 5 to 6 minutes. But for here, in the magic of TV, we'll just pretend it's fully cooked.
Okay.
And then to build your tray bake, you can use a glass tray like that, or you can use whatever oven tray you have at home. Or if you want to do individual portions, you can do them into little pie dishes if you have time. While I'm putting I'm using cheesy covered nachos because why not?
Okay.
While I'm putting them in, I leave a few drop in whole, and I also crush a few as well while they're going in, just for that texture difference.
Right.
Do you ever have them in the cinema?
those, though, won't it?
Do you ever have them in the cinema?
Oh no, the crunchy ones are the best.
Do you?
Yeah. I have done before, yeah.
Stink in the cinema with the nachos.
And it's like cheese sauce. It's not brutal, I know.
The hands are everywhere.
Okay, so you layer it. This is what I was going to wonder. Like, do
Jackie
you
was
do
away
layers?
the other night, so I had a night of my own man movie. So I put on Saving Private Ryan, opened a bag of cheesy nachos. It's just the abuse I got the following morning. It's like, there's cheese dust all over the couch.
Smell, yeah.
So I build this almost like a lasagna. So it's nachos, beef, mature cheddar, mature red cheddar, and then we go again.
Okay.
And then we go again.
So it's a natural lasagna. Love it.
Pretty much.
You have cheese. You forgot the cheese.
Thanks, Tommy.
Like, this is a cheat meal. You have to do it right.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing worse than
Don't leave
order
cheese
a
behind.
takeaway and it's not a good one. And you kind of think, oh, it's my one of the week
Right.
and it hasn't been good.
Pop the other one in there.
I was with a bunch of people from the restaurant industry last night and they kept on asking me, is he really that hungry? And I'm like, yes. Yes, he is really
At
that
25
hungry.
past 8 in the morning.
That's when he really needs the
Well,
food.
the alarm goes early.
Top it up. Pop it into the oven at 210 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's nice, golden, and melted. And that's really it.
So that's it.
That's it. Pop it in, and we'll whip out the one I prepared earlier.
And what's the sauce then you have with it?
So I'm just going to use a chipotle hot sauce that I just got in the supermarket.
Okay.
But you can use like Frank's buffalo sauce if you want, whatever you like. Now, out it comes like that. And then what I do is I decorate it on the tray, pop it into the middle of the... Generally, this is a coffee table job, not a dinner table. Garnish it up, put your plate aside, put cutlery and some Bounty or whatever, and just help yourselves. So to finish it off, then we get some lovely hot sauce. Again, whatever your favourite hot sauce is.
This on top of the chipotle you have in it?
Oh, it's a ring stinger, yeah. This is unreal.
Jack.
Blue balls
Right.
are stingers now today.
Oh,
I'm
my
sorry
goodness.
now.
Yeah.
We've got enough going on.
You'll be putting the baby wipes into the freezer before you go to
Ah, Lord above. Good morning.
bed. Right.
Right.
Sour cream,
That's
just to
what we
cool
need.
it down.
The first thing.
Tommy's got to be here until 10 a.m. You know what I mean?
A lot of serious interviews coming up, Jack.
Oh, my God.
Serious. Sour cream, coriander.
Okay. Right, let's Let's taste it. Oh, no, jalapenos.
Leave them alone.
I'll just do one little line like that.
Okay, that's from
cheeky
Warren.
line, right?
Come on, Ringy Stingy. Let's see what happens.
Are you not having them too?
But I've never really been into nachos.
Right. Well, it will be now.
It was always because the smell in the cinema kind of turned me off.
Oh, yeah, that canned cheese sauce they use in the cinema is absolutely delicious.
Right, let's have a little taste here, Jack, and see
Oh my
what your
God,
crunchy...
you've cut it out like lasagna.
Yeah, exactly. It's so fun.
I mean, where's the whole, like, picking it? They're like... Okay. Like, it looks like you have to eat these with a fork rather than just picking them out. Hold on, here we go. Now.
Hold on now.
Oh, look at that.
They're all stuck together. Oh, that's too much.
That's what you want. Like, look, wait till you see all these melted cheesy bits like that.
Oh, it's nice.
Okay, right. Can't go wrong. No. Jack O'Keefe. Beautiful.
Wait until it hits.
Yummy. Jack,
Thank you,
Naylor,
Jack.
thank you so
Cheers.
much.
We've got lots more coming on Ireland Day, and we'll talk to you back here very shortly.
You're very welcome back. Dealing with the prospect of facing death is never going to be easy, but hospice care can provide that much-needed support.
Absolutely. Someone who knows this all too well is Alan Quinn, whose father Paddy was cared for at Harold's Cross Hospice in Dublin. And we're also joined by ward manager of Our Lady's Hospice, Kate Nolan. Thank you both so much for being with us. And at the moment, there is a programme happening at 9 o'clock on Virgin Media One. It's called Inside the Hospice, and it's bringing people. We're seeing so much of, you know, perhaps what we wouldn't have seen before. Can you tell us about your dad, Paddy, Alan?
Yes, where do I start? Yeah, no, my dad was someone, like he was, I don't know, everyone just said he was just very good to be around. Like he had that energy about him, you know, he was very funny, very witty, very sarcastic. I don't know, he was just different. Like he just stood out. He was one of them people where he was a big presence in the world, you know, everyone that met him, they just wanted to spend more time around him. He was just a great person to be around. Like, you know, he was very wise, great listener. Like whether it's you telling him about what you had for breakfast or, you know, something that's gone on in your life, he was just all ears. Like he really was. Like, and everyone knew that. Like, like even for example, like when he was sick, like I used to go down to him with my minor daily problems, and he was like all ears. Like, you know, and I'm like, yeah, but you're a lot of problems going on. He was, I don't mind that. Like, you know, like he just wanted to like help other people.
He seemed just like he had 5 children, you're one of the 5 kids, and there was that friendship and whatever he was going through. Like he just seemed to live life to the fullest. I mean, he was given the terminal diagnosis that he was maybe 4 months, but actually went on to live further 7 years. Yeah. It's kind of testament to that.
There is now, like that alone, like he even said to me, like his life like probably started when he got cancer, which that in itself is a statement. Like, you know, like it's a lot of other people can go either way, but that actually pushed him on to be more positive, get more stuff done, go on more holidays. He was in Portugal 5-6 times a year, like, and you know, not a bother to him, like, going by himself, you know, very independent. Like he wouldn't let people get a shop and wouldn't let them, you know, drive him anywhere. He was he wanted to do it all himself. But like the relationships as well, he always said to me, he was like the relationships he got, not that they weren't great, like he said it, like, you know, himself, but they just got better. You know, like we all got a lot more closer to him. Like, you know, everyone wanted to be around him, and then he was getting sick of seeing people because everyone wanted to see him every time. Yeah. He was like a celebrity, but and even with me, like I only live up the road from him, so I was down to him, you know, nearly every day.
Because I think it's amazing for people to say your father, Paddy, was given 4 months, and he got an extra 7 years.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal, and of course that time for you, you just lapped up every single minute of it.
Yeah.
During that time, Paddy did take part in Inside the Hospice, and we get to see a clip of him right now. Let's take a look.
Perfect.
I didn't think I'd see a grandchild, nor did they. You know, that's all happening now. I've loads of them for them now.
Oh, what a surprise to see you. What a surprise. Oh, I missed you so much, baby girl. Oh, Jamie Mac.
Relationships have changed me with everybody, particularly with my kids and my partner. And I don't mean changed, everything was great, but it's just so much improved to a degree that I wouldn't have thought possible. But I don't have the fear that I would have expected I would have had, to be very, very honest with you. I've most of my life is looking forward to what I can do, not what I can't. I always quote like the Shawshank Redemptions, get busy living or get busy dying, and I'm getting busy living.
The show last night that showed the final moments that you got to spend with your dad, and like even to those final moments, he was busy living.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it was a beautifully captured and really special time for you and your family.
Yeah, and I was like I know it's a bit weird saying it, but like even the way like my dad died, it was. I don't say it's a nice death, but like it was exactly what he would have wanted. If you get me, like me, you know, he was like he loved family, he loved eating, he loved singing, he loved anything that was a bit joyous. He was all for it, like So like for example, like in the hospice, like we were all around, all the family partners, like all that kind of stuff. We got a chipper, which he would have been all for as well, and then we all just started singing songs. I don't know how it started. Like he loved his music and he was a great singer as well, and he loved his ballads and stuff like that, but. We all just started singing songs. So like we were all singing songs to him, and he was actually singing back to us. Like he was going like back to it. He was literally singing with us. We knew he could hear us, and then a few people were whispering in his ear, like stuff that we probably wanted to say to him, like in our own time, whatever. We were all kind of having a laugh, and it was tears as well, obviously. But like it was just what he would have wanted: family all around, getting along, doing all the stuff he wanted. And like even when he did pass, it was like I honestly think he timed it. So that like it was when he wanted, because like my brother came over from America, he got to come over, spend a few hours with him, get food, have the chats, sing songs, all that kind of stuff as well. And then the morning that he died, like someone went to go get a few bits for breakfast, like a few sausages or me and myself. And literally when that happened, we were all kind of like, not that we forgot about, but when we were all kind of busy, getting a sandwich ready, and we were all laughing, and it was a good day, cause, like, we were all out with tears, whatever. They were literally, he just like the nurse was like, I think he might be, And we were all like, oh, but like, I honestly think he done that because he knew that we were all okay, we were all there, we were all together, we'd had our breakfast, because...
You were distracted, and he was like, I'll slip off.
That's it, because like, even when he used to drop us to school in the morning, like, he'd be like half an hour late, and he'd be going, you have to have your scrambled egg on toast first, and I'm like, Dad, we're late, and he's like, no, that's... So,
Paddy was late, you see? There we go, Paddy was late as well. We were talking about that earlier on.
Yeah.
Paddy passed in last November. And he had that 4 months, and then he got 7 years. And the way you can talk about him is just so lovely.
Yeah.
And what this programme is doing is I just think it's amazing for people to see. And Kate, you work in a hospice. And when people hear hospice, it's kind of, scary. Oh God. But then it can be such an amazing place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, that's kind of the essence of this programme. That's what we really want people to see, is that sounds like such a scary place, and the road ahead of somebody who has been given a terminal diagnosis is filled with anxieties. Of course it is, but we'd hate for the hospice to induce anxiety along that road. We'd like for it to just be able to ease people's worries and anxieties, and just to be a stop on that road, and to help people. So the whole premise of the show for us is to hopefully allow people to see that it's not a scary place, and that we can help people while they're there and bring families together as well.
Is it a rewarding job to work in? Because, you're dealing with death and people's final moments, and families are distraught, but there must be, a real bright side of it too, and you're giving people an amazing send-off.
Definitely, yeah. You get such a sense of reward because you're able to give families kind of what they didn't know they were looking for, or else just time. And we always say to families when they come in, like for people who are caring for their loved ones at home, it's so difficult, and you end up becoming the carer and the nurse to your family member, whereas when you come into the hospice, we can take that role away from you, and you can just be a patient's family. So even doing that is incredibly rewarding, and you get this, perspective on life as well, because you're faced with death every single day in the hospice, and we don't take it for granted looking after patients who are dying as well.
It must be an amazing perspective on life that it gives
definitely.
you.
Yeah.
And I always think that nurses who work in hospice, the special skill that you have, like for job requirements, I've got to be able to put on a bit of makeup and talk down a camera. But it's amazing. You're like, okay, this is a special, it's like you hear the death rattle, and you're kind of getting the family ready. To usher people through, because you've got the patient, but then you've got people like Alan and his whole family there.
Yeah.
That's part of the job as well.
that's what palliative care is. Like, palliative care is holistically looking after a patient and their families, you know, and their job doesn't stop after somebody dies after. There's the aftercare and there's bereavement support as well. But yeah, that's part of actually what makes it rewarding, though, is bringing families through that and, you know, just simply educating families on exactly what to expect and I suppose adjusting your care for each patient as well, because some families don't want to know anything. And some families want to know everything.
And Anna, there was a lovely line in it your sister came out with at the end of the show last night. She just said that time and the palliative care was a time for the family. It was like a really personal, that the funeral is for his friends and the public, but actually that time is what was the most special, and that's the bit you'll treasure the most.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like as Kate said, like it's like I was the same even when I heard the word hospice at first, I was like, oh, God, I always associate that with, you know, death, or, you know, this is it.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like, even just look at me down. He went in, he used to, like, he thought he was on holiday. Like, he'd be walking in, he'd be showing us around, look at the big room and the big toilet and have me a little balcony door and we go for a walk and see, and it was great. Like, you know, and obviously they're so good at what they do and they're so nice and helpful and, you know, it's a safe place, you know, and it's great to be because, you know, like that, it's like all the sides of little things, but like for us it definitely was, like as I said, we were singing songs, we were eating food, we were laughing, we were joking, we were crying, we were doing all the stuff he would have wanted to do, which I didn't even know what way a hospice looked inside. But after being there, we even went back to it after for a coffee. That's how much we loved the place. Like, we associate that as a good memory from me dad, you know.
It's
amazing.
You're a testament. You're all a testament to him, and to let us see inside his life towards the end. I know you miss him like mad, but he saw his grandkids, and what a lovely man.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you both here, because I know that it's Kate Nolan. You're actually ward manager at Our Ladies Hospice there, and Alan Quinn talking about your dad. Sunflowerdays.ie. It's where you're raising money. They'll be selling on the streets on the 9th and 10th of June, but you can go on and donate right now. This is so important for hospices to keep them going, and if you're involved in a hospice, if you've ever seen it, they're such special places. The work they do is amazing. Thank you both so much.
Thank you. There's the QR code in the corner as well if you do want to donate. Now, a reminder that the new series, Inside the Hospice, it airs again tonight on Virgin Media 1.
Yeah, and to help support your local hospice, as we mentioned, go to sunflowerdays.ie, or you can scan the QR code that is on your screen. We'll be back with you shortly.
Very welcome back. Now, it's the men's group that promotes mental health and well-being in the freezing cold water.
What better way to bond? To find out more, we sent Derek to the 40-foot in Dunleary in South County Dublin. Who are you with there, Derek?
Yeah, guys, you know what? I kind of feel like I'm the odd one out here this morning because I'm the only one with clothes on. A very good morning. Welcome down here to the beautiful 40-foot in Sandycove in South County Dublin. We're joined now by Jonathan Smith and Owen Flood. And Jonathan, we'll start with you because did anyone ever tell you look like Ronnie Drew?
I've heard it a few times before, Derek, but if you stick with it, you'll get there eventually.
You're the spitting image. Anyway, let's talk about Blue Balls Ireland.
Yeah. Blue Balls was set up by Owen Flood, approached me about setting this up as a safe space for men to come together and talk about things that was bothering and burning them. And it was a place where they could come and talk without feeling any inhibition or any pressure from anything.
And that's the main thing about it. I suppose it's a safe space that you're creating for men.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sacrosanct that everything that people talk about here is said here, left here, and the people who they see here don't go divulging that to anyone else, you know. It's just a safe, comfortable space. Women have been very good at it in Ireland for many, many years.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Women are great at talking, but men aren't.
No, they're not. And especially in Ireland, in rural Ireland, suicides and things like that happen I always feel these things could be averted by men opening up to other men and sharing things that's bothering them.
And you get together here then every Monday?
Yeah, every Monday at 6:30, and then we have other meetups as well in off-grid space and in my cafe, and we do other things like that. But every Monday we come down here. You can just come along anytime you want. 6:30, just come along, introduce yourself. We'll chat back. We'll listen to you. You can listen, chat if you want, do whatever you want.
And as we said, it is a safe space for men. Owen, you've been swimming for a long time and you've been involved in social groups as well.
Yeah, I have. So I set up a group back in the first lockdown called Ripple Effect Ireland, which is a sea swimming community page. And through that, we set up loads of like sea swims and community meetups. And it was really evident to me then as well that there was mainly women were turning up to these and very few men. Then I was thinking, okay, there's a lot of men's mental health issues, but there's very few of these men turning up to these events. So hence came the idea then of like setting up our own kind of men's swimming group as well. So on the Ripple Effect page, we came across a group called Blue Balls Cornwall, and I just really like what they were doing. They're basically getting men to meet up with a pretext of a swim, but more about chatting as well. So I approached Jonathan back in November last year, and he jumped on board, and yeah, it's just kind of grown from there.
And why do you think, Owen, that men are so bad when it comes to talking about their mental health?
I think it's just a generational thing, isn't it? You know, it's the whole thing about being a strong man is about being quiet and being strong and just not having to share your problems, burden people with your problems, you know, or showing emotion, you know. And that is changing, thankfully. But there still needs to be a bit of a push, and groups like ours are hopefully going to push that, and groups like Dublin Boys Club and the Crewman Group as well. So, yeah, this is a huge need.
And at the moment as well, masculinity is under threat too, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, you've got people like Andrew Tate as well, you know, portraying how men should be, and you know, it's kind of a dangerous model to be following as well. So we're trying to be good role models to other younger men as well by, you know, exploring our emotions, chatting, supporting one another as well, you know, and just being there for each other.
Now, we were talking earlier on, it is a therapy session, but you're not obviously qualified therapists, and you do have links then to professionals if people want to go and seek further assistance.
Yeah, we do. We always kind of state that. So we swim, as Jonathan said, every Monday, and then we have the meet up in off-grid as well. But we'll generally say as well at the start of all those events, like, we're not counsellors, we're not psychotherapists. But if we feel like there's something that's coming up there, we'll signpost people in the direction of professional help. But we would never be there to advise when we're not qualified to do that as well. We're just there as a supporting ear, really.
Jonathan, you've been on your own mental health journey as well, haven't you?
Yeah, like I had problems with addiction many years ago. I'm clean and sober 20 odd years, but 10 odd years into sobriety, my mother passed away, and I found it very hard to deal with that. You know, and I tried many other alternative things, Reiki, healing, and all those things. But I know had a group like this been available to me, I would have really gravitated towards that. You know, so, you know, I just needed a safe space where I could chat to people about the stuff that was bothering me, you know, stuff I was dealing with, family issues and all of those things.
And now you're very comfortable and you're inviting other men to get involved too.
Yeah, well, I mean, Derek, like I always say to my kids, you know, do as I do, not as I say, you know, and we set this group up with that type of premise to show people how we do things and not to be dictating to them anything.
All right, where can we find you online, by the way, Owen?
Blue Balls Ireland on Instagram as well, yeah.
And through the socials. Anyway, we're here for the main event. Lads, we're going to get them all into the RC. Boys, are you ready to jump in there? 3, 2, 1. Give me a big cheer. Go on, lads. Hey, here we go there, boys. Hey. Hope you're enjoying this back home. In you go there. Go on, in we go, Owen. In we go, Jonathan. I'm going to pass the mic over here to Alex. Come on, Alex. Right.
Okay, Derek, is it your turn?
It is my turn. It is my turn.
Derek, nice shorts, Derek.
But we've something a little bit extra special for
Oh!
Here we go, Tommy.
Woo! Wow! Go Blue Balls Island!
Well done, Derek. Well done to Blue Balls Ireland.
Did you expect anything less?
Absolutely not.
From our little budgie himself, Derek Hartigan. That is just
only
beautiful.
too delighted. Listen, fair play to everybody involved there this morning. It just seems it's just a great crowd and discussing things like that
Yes.
we need to get off our chest. So fantastic.
But also having great fun. Like, it's just
Characters.
so good. Oh, lads, I'd say he's got pairs and pairs and pairs of them. Congratulations to Derek. Derek, hope you enjoyed that view. Still to come, we're going to be meeting the stand-up comedian you need to know about. Paddy Raff, we think fully dressed, or what's going to happen?
I hope so. Plus, from hay fever to sore throats, we're going to find out the benefits of using herbal honey. We'll see you after this short break. What a legend that man is, Derek.
Above
in and out of the water
and beyond.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He's so good.
Cute little bottom.
Cute little bottom. Behave yourself.
If you miss the budgie smugglers, make sure you watch it back.
On demand. We were talking earlier on about lots of things, lateness being one, and really, was it lateness? Are you a late person? Is it rude being late? Is it rude being the person who has to sit there and wait?
It is rude being late.
But I love this one. So Enda said, my sister Aileen is notorious in our family for being late. And I don't mean 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, this could be up to an hour. But she always arrives saying that it's better to arrive late than to arrive ugly.
That is very good, Aileen. I enjoy that. Terry says, my mother-in-law gave me the wrong time for a recent family meet-up because she assumed I would be late.
Mother-in-law did this?
Wow. I arrived At the time, I was given to an empty restaurant. Myself and my husband had to wait for over an hour before his parents arrived. Let's just say his mother wouldn't be top of the pops with us at the minute.
Oh,
so
that is...
So is that after years? That's something that my poor mother-in-law would have to do, because
Well,
she's
'cause
got
she
two
knows.
daughter-in-laws that are notorious.
Yes, exactly. I used to drive somewhere with a guy's dad, and he used to say, better to be late Tommy Bow than the late Tommy Bow. So, to drive late, because we're always giving him a hard time for driving so slow. There's a good one, isn't it? With Paddy Raff coming up later, the comedian, he'll probably be stealing that one on him.
I don't know how a comedian is going to compete with that joke.
Write that one down. Anyway, we're also talking about energy drinks. Hey, it's a good saying, and I still remember it, and it makes me slow down in the car.
And your
'cause I don't
comic
want to
timing is...
the late Tommy Bow.
It took me a second. I was like, what is he saying?
We were also talking about energy drinks. Prime. We've all seen these Prime adverts. KSI and Logan Paul.
Yep.
These YouTubers are selling an absolute fortune. We're talking about kids. Like, they're 15 to 18 euro to buy them. And a lot of parents out there are saying, down with that sort of thing. It's ridiculous. Why do we have to do it? But Dia said all energy drinks have an age limit on it, but no retailers in rural towns, she's saying, are implementing it, and that's part of the problem.
We've actually talked about this before in relation to energy drinks, and we had people who, work in shops going, do you know how much stuff? Do you know how hard it is to tell, like, a 15-year-old is going to throw abuse at you?
Yeah.
It's just easier, grand, take that, like, I'm not their parent.
No.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely
So, and
not.
it's not, like, illegal, like a cigarette or whatever.
Absolutely not.
Sorry.
Well, it is. They have, like, it's over 16s.
Well, then should they not be
So it
behind
should
the
be like
counter?
vaping,
But
because
should they be behind the counter?
Well, yeah, probably. But, like, because vaping is over 16s too, is that right? I'm not too sure exactly.
For a while it wasn't, is it now?
But there are Prime vapes as well, but I don't think they're actually affiliated to the ones that the two
They're
YouTubers
just hopping
do.
on the bandwagon.
But again, it's getting young people into it.
But then I suppose do all, like, Lucozade to Red Bull, to all of them have to go behind the counter. Is that what it is?
Well, Barbara has just said it's just another money-making racket with the cost of living crisis. It's not okay to hike up the prices to 15 euro when actually they should be recommended retail price around 2 to 3 euro.
15 euro.
Water is the perfect hydration drink.
We did also hear earlier on from that mother who found the empty bottle in her son's room. Take it, wash it and give it to her other son. He was like, this is crap, I never want it again.
Put a bit of cordial in it.
Put a bit of cordial in it. Genius.
My waddy.
Now,
thank you for sending in those
Tommy
texts.
Bow.
Now, from getting shout-outs to Anton Deck, what about that, to supporting Mickey Flanagan, we're going to meet the comedian Paddy Raff, who's going to be stealing all my jokes.
I don't know how Paddy's going to compete with him. We'll talk to you in a minute.
But
You're so good, though.
Well, our next guest's online comedy sketches have made him a household name in Northern Ireland.
It's Tommy Bow. He just doesn't release them here, is that it?
Not quite.
That's it. Here to chat about comedy, children, and creating characters, it is comedian Paddy Raff. Good morning, Paddy. It's lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
Before we launch into all the things we have to chat to you about, let's see Paddy in action.
Paddy Raff! From Belfast, right? And we used to have the rather dubious title of being the car crime capital of Europe, didn't we? And we're not anymore. Hasn't got any better. We're just not in Europe anymore, so you know. But apparently Ed Sheeran has family from here, and apparently his cousin was caught joyriding by the local vigilantes. We all know how that ends, don't we? He dedicated the opening line of this song to his cousin, apparently. When your legs don't work like they used to before.
Apparently.
Apparently.
I realised that was on TV halfway through that, but I had to say apparently in case Ed Sheeran sues me.
A man who's used to a court case.
He's never out of court.
But he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it to you.
No.
Because it's the opposite way. I think he gets it.
Yeah, he's on board with
Solidarity. Now, I'm just wondering, because it was Patrick Keelty who introduced you there.
Yeah.
Paddy, guilty, Paddy, you. Is it actually you that's doing the Late Late Show? We've just all gotten it wrong. Your name must be in the ring at this stage.
I'm the outsider. If you had a pound on me or a euro on me, like you get good returns for me to be hosting it.
You get something like that.
It's a high bar to set for a Northern Irish comedian. I tell you what, though. But the two Paddies, sure. Listen,
the two Paddies.
That's got a show written all over it.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Where do we sign?
You have it sorted. You have been on tour recently, and you were supporting him in Wales and in Dublin. Mickey Flanagan, who just seems like such a lovely chap.
Yeah. No, he's as nice as he seems on stage. He's a lovely fella. So, yeah, it was brilliant crack. So we did Dublin and we did Wales as well there a couple of weeks ago.
And how was it going? Because I suppose you know a bit about Dublin. Like, do you have to go? We were talking about this before, about some comedians that don't learn, you know, the biggest shop or the biggest street or whatever. Do you do that when you're going to a different country?
Yeah, so like when I was going to do the gig in Wales there a couple of weeks ago, I was like, how do you ingratiate yourself to the local audience? So I relearned the name of the longest town in the world, which is in Wales.
Oh,
you said did you want to have a crack at it? Because you said you were...
I can't... You try... You know it.
Okay.
So you try it. Because I tried to do it for a best man speech and it bombed. Because I got it wrong.
Okay.
So let's hear you do it and then we'll try and copy.
I'm going to get... People are going to be writing in saying this is not how you do it, but it's Plan Fair between Githgorgera, Quinn, Dover, Clantasilio, Gogogoch.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Which is 19 syllables long, which is apparently 10 syllables longer than the nearest or the next long town name, which is 10 syllables. 10 syllables.
I don't believe it. Who would have thought? Fair play. Like, stop it. Stop it. And how did it go down? Like,
Brilliant,
did they love it?
Yeah, it was great. It brought the house down and then, it went downhill after that. It was brilliant. It was a great way to start and then that kind of brings everybody on board and then you can kind of continue on.
And when you've got Mickey Flanagan there as well, like it's for someone who's done so many circuses, because you're quite you've only been doing this 5 years, is that right?
Yeah, 5 years. Yep.
So to follow on from him and even to show and watch him in action must be amazing.
You kind of pinch yourself because I went to see him in the Waterfront, which was about a couple of years before I started even doing stand-up, and to be then sitting in a room with him and chatting, and it was funny with the Dublin gig. He was nearly late for his own show because of the traffic. He had to get out of his car and walk the rest of the way to the Three Arena. So I was...
Welcome, and he's from London. You're going to sit there going, how do we manage to beat them on that? You can learn something new.
Did that not happen to you as well? Because you, of course, sold out 5 shows in the SSE in Belfast.
Yeah. So and it's one of those weird things where, your local arena, and if it causes any traffic, you're raging. So I was in traffic going, who's on the arena tonight? And I was like, oh, it's me. Because I was trying to get there, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's me.
That's when you know you're ringing the family going, I'm on the radio, the AA Roadwatch, they're all backed up, and that's because of me. That's what's going on there.
But I love the idea, the people watching your show were like, who is this guy? He's doing so much up north. And it's like, I'm like the Northern Ireland Protocol. Loads up north know about me. Nobody down here was like, what?
That's what it happens. Hey, we know what it's called.
What, the protocol?
The Northern Ireland Protocol.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's about it. Yeah,
so Paddy Raff, that's what we have now.
Well, hopefully people are a bit more interested and willing to learn a bit more about Paddy Raff and the protocol.
Well, I actually learned an awful lot about, we'll say, Belfast from you, because you've got your own show on BBC Northern Ireland, the Paddy Raff Show, but you do lots of stuff online as well. And there's this character that's basically from the D4 of Belfast, Posh Nigel.
BT9, yeah.
What's it called?
BT9, Bravo Tango 9. That's the postcode, BT9. So it's BT9 is the postcode, the posh postcode. So D4, same kind of, posh area.
BT9.
And I only learned that you're a resident.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I tell you what, great. It's the posh area of Belfast.
Belfast.
I'm coming up to see this, isn't it?
Did you impersonate this? Is this a friend of yours who Nigel is kind of based on?
I didn't realise I was doing this. So I'm from West Belfast, working class, and I started working in a call centre with this guy who was really, really posh, but he was brilliant crack. So we ended up being best mates. And whenever I started doing stand-up and doing wee videos online, there was a filter that had this sort of, character with the moustache and whatever. And that was the voice that came out. So after a couple of months, he isn't really on social media. We were having a few drinks one time and he was like, Paddy, are you doing an impression of me online? And I was like, oh my God, I am. And that's when I realised I owe him a royalty check. So yeah, he actually likes it.
Well, he comes on stage with you now, does he not?
Yeah, so he joins me as dad's Jarlath, who plays piano on stage. So, you know, he's getting a bit of money out of it. Like, he can't be that bad to it.
And is it the sort of, we were talking about it outside, like, because when I think of a really posh person, I think of Ross O'Carroll Kelly. You know, the quintessential D4. The fact that it's called BTs in Dublin, like for the Brown Thomas BT9.
Is that it?
Like, that is
connection.
Oh, it's
that's
so
what it's based on, probably.
Brown Thomas is so unbelievably posh.
Yeah.
But is that the sort of character that people will in Belfast be like, oh yeah, from BT9?
Yeah, so it's become a bit of a byword now for people if you're posh, you know, you're like, oh, you're a BT9er or whatever else, you know. So I'm kind of responsible for that, and now we're like sort of looking to move house, and you know that might be a nice area, and I'm like, the prices are ridiculous. I'm like, did I do this? If I like inflated the prices of this postcode, because it's just the postcode is all it is. But people live and die by it now, and they love telling you I'm from BT9, and some people talk to me didn't realise, like, I started that.
You started that. That's it. It's yours.
How do your kids find all this? Because they feature on quite a lot. Like, you have 2 kids, Ronan, who's 8, and Clara, who's 5.
Yeah.
But you've got them quite involved in a lot of the recent videos online.
Even if I didn't want to, they would burst in and want to be, like, they would gate crash the videos, because that's just, kids these days want to be YouTubers and Twitch streamers and all that stuff. So whenever they know I'm making a sketch, they want to know what's their part in it and can they be involved. So I kind of have to let them be, but they're brilliant. Like, they take direction brilliantly, and they genuinely steal the show. Whenever I'm looking at the sketches and watching, like, I'm getting acted off the screen here, you know.
Teach me, Paddy. Your kids take direction well. I wish.
Just then, just when you're rolling.
So is it just pretend I'm filming them at all times?
Just tell them there's always cameras rolling. We've been commissioned for a fly on the wall, and they'll be brilliant.
You have just pitched a parenting book, and I think it actually might work.
And then they'll be like, when's this transmitting? What channels are going out on? Like, no, it's not. This is all that.
You didn't make it, sorry. Teach them, yeah, exactly. Deal with setbacks early, exactly.
Didn't get commissioned. The pilot fell flat.
And how is it now, you know, being you're a comedian, but also you are a comedian from Northern Ireland, and a lot has been going on, like with Brexit, the protocol. We saw there a joke that you already have. Does it lend itself to comedy beautifully?
It does and it doesn't. You know, you have to know what way to... We have a very dark sense of humour, and I think that comes from, you know, the recent past that we have up there. It's like, you know, when the pandemic came and people were socially distancing, it wasn't a problem for us up north. We were religiously distancing for like 30, 40 years, you know, 6 feet apart at all times. So, you know, it's one of those things. We can joke about religion and, you know, like have the crack with it. And I think that sometimes other comedians, like from outside there, can be shocked by how open and, you know, how much crack we can have with it. They're like, this is a pretty grim topic. So it stands us in good stead for, you know, sort of having that kind of...
Does it translate, though, for if you say, like, if you're performing in Dublin or playing in Wales and stuff, you obviously have to taper it a little bit.
Yeah, so there's certain things you kind of realise what are our traits that people pick up about us, and it's the scary accent, you know, the Liam Neeson accent down the phone. And so you do, and like, that's the kind of thing, like, because I was actually going on stage in London, and there was a guy on the phone, an English guy, and he was talking to somebody on the phone, and he was like, I'm going to send the boys round tomorrow. Now, he's probably talking about his 2 kids. Like, if I say that on the phone, I'm going to send the boys round tomorrow, all of a sudden it takes on a different tone just because of the accent, you know? So you have to work out what to say and what not to say with our accents.
That's brilliant.
So good.
Listen, you are going to be playing here in Dublin very soon as well. June the 18th, you're going to be playing Whelan's.
Yes.
It's going to be an amazing show for people to go and watch it as well. You've also got a family-friendly show, Last with Raff in the Mac in Belfast.
Yeah,
that's coming up this weekend as well. So you just childcare and comedy.
I know, I'll be sick of the sight of them. And I was actually, like, for the family-friendly show, I was trying to brand it to say, look, you can bring your younger ones to this show, and people were messaging me whenever I released it going, what time do we pick them up at after? So like, this is not, you know, this isn't like a childcare soft play thing. You leave them with me. I'm not qualified for this.
People will be coming from all over the country to go and do that one, Paddy.
Paddy Raff comedy as well, online Paddy. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Notice the way he didn't do the long Welsh name?
Yeah. Clan Tyler, the go, go, go. There we go. Close enough. Paddy Raff, great to have you with us.
Now, this is a wardrobe essential that you cannot live without. It is the white shirt.
I was just going to say shirt.
I was trying to be...
Thank you.
What would you do without shirts?
I'd be in trouble.
Naked every day, everybody.
We're going to show you 4 ways to wear the same shirt with stylist Rob Condon. Good morning to you, Rob.
He was almost threatening there, wasn't he? I like it. Oh,
I'm taking the challenge. Yeah, we're taking a look at the same white shirt. It's from all of the clothes are from West End Shopping Park in Blanchardstown, but we're changing it around. So we're going from really casual, cool to high octane glam.
I love when you do stuff like this. Our first look is from Danny.
Yes, our first look here on Danny. So we've kept it really casual, cool here, just showing the white shirt. So the white shirt is available from New Look, a really great piece to add to your wardrobe. Lots of people will already have a white shirt in their wardrobe that they might be able to do this with, but it works really well. I think with this white shirt, we've tucked it in at the waist here, so we've done a half tuck. You could full tuck on this if you wanted to, but it just dresses it up a little bit. As well, with holidays coming up, an oversized white shirt going to the beach, you can just put one button on it and then do something different for a night out. But I think this definitely works really well. With the jacket that is available from Pep & Co at Deals. So we've gone really oversized with the jackets. If you have any festivals coming up this summer, it's definitely a perfect festival essential.
That's Pep & Co.
Yeah, it's from Pep & Co. Yeah, really good price point there. It's oversized as well, so you're going to be able to use this as a layering piece, whether you want to layer underneath or whether you want to layer over this piece. You're definitely going to be able to do it.
Polos and jumpers and everything, it's great.
Exactly, a great layering piece that you can bring into autumn, winter. Then with the shorts from Mountain Warehouse here, they're kind of a cotton, they're really lightweight shorts, pockets to them, high-waisted. They're also available in a powder pink as well, so if you don't want to go with the khaki green, but I think the khaki green just works great with these tones to this look here.
They're so nice. We've got this little bag.
Yeah, then we've gone with a little basket-style bag there from New Look, a really cool piece to add to this look. And I think it just dresses it up because they're quite a casual pair of shorts, throwing a shirt with them, the bag, and going over the shoulders with the jacket really works.
You can't be without one of those basket bags this year, last year, next year.
Everywhere.
Get yourself one.
Let's start with the sunglasses.
Yeah, then with the sunglasses, we've just gone with a simple pair of aviators, which I think makes it a little bit more casual than going with a really oversized sunglasses. A really great piece to add to your wardrobe, and you're going to get so much wear out of them as well. And then accessory-wise,
for accessories, sorry.
Accessory-wise, then we've gone with this really chunky gold. It's a BOGO, which we're seeing lots of at the moment, T-bar necklace. So definitely, as you've got the plunge neckline, we've opened the buttons there. You can go with jewellery. Obviously, if you're going for more of an office look and you're buttoned up, I'd go a little bit more simple with the jewellery.
And where's that from?
The necklace is also available at New Look.
Lovely, very nice. Same white shirt on Sarah.
Yeah, what we've done with this white shirt to make it a little bit more plungy, it makes it a little bit more streamlined. We've taken the whole collar of the shirt in, so just tucking the whole collar underneath it makes it that V neckline. So
now, do you secure that with tape underneath if you want it to last for a day?
We haven't this morning, but I would advise, if you are doing it, to do it with tape underneath it. Now, we've left it quite plungy, but if you are bigger busted, I'd say button it up a little bit more, so that you only have a slight plunge on it.
Or even put a little cami underneath.
Yes, definitely you could. You could put a cami underneath it and bring a different colour, maybe a bow block bright, to make a statement with the look. But it's just giving that plunge neckline to it, and it just completely transforms that white shirt. Also, if you wanted to do it with a different coloured shirt, it could work as well.
It's lovely. The oversized blazer as well.
And then we've gone with the oversized blazer, white. This is a great piece to add to your occasion wear wardrobe. Really streamlined, really tailored. You can see the attention to detail in the design of it. Also, throwing this with a pair of denim jeans, blazer, t-shirt, it's going to go great. You're going to get lots of wear out of it. Then with the skirt, quite Dolce & Gabbana inspired print to this skirt here. It's high-waisted. It's a mini. They do have a matching top to this, so if you wanted to go print on print, you definitely could go with that look. But I think the skirt works perfect for summer. Lots of great colours in the skirt, blue, yellows, and then with the bag, it is from New Look. It's a quilted faux leather with gold detail.
Lovely, and you've picked up with the shoes.
Yeah, so we've
the
gone
lighter
with
blue.
a bold block bright with the lighter blue pointed court shoe there, but definitely you could take like the yellow, any of those tones to it if you wanted to go really bold block bright with it.
And then it's because you've made the neckline the statement piece and just a little bit pair of earrings.
Because of the plunge neckline, we've left no necklace with that, and we've gone with these kind of gold hoop 90s. They're squiggle earring, but I definitely think if you are doing that with your V neckline and you're going to have a plunge, I'd leave it bare and go with a statement.
And Sarah's I love the pair with that as well. That's a great outfit.
Yeah.
I love it all. She's snatched. She's snatched. What does that mean? She's snatched. That's what, when the hair is up like that, you kind of give yourself a facelift. Oh, right. Snatched.
There you go. Happy days.
Love it. There we go. Flaunted.
So we're sticking with the same white shirt here, but we have gone. Yes, it is. It's the same white shirt, but we've gone completely different. So how you're going to get this is you're putting one arm in first. You look like you don't believe me. It is the same white shirt.
No, this is one of these things I see on Instagram. They wear them back to front.
So it's back to front. You're putting your sleeve in first. Yes, you're putting your sleeve in first, and then you're getting the other sleeve and the rest of the material, and you're flipping flipping it over the collar of it, bring it through, put your arm in and button it up at the back. So you can see at the back we've buttoned it to the side there, so it is back to front, and you get that really ruched detail, and it just makes it really dressy.
We should have taken a video of this while Blonde was actually doing it. Hand in, flip the other bit up.
So you're flipping the rest of the material completely over the collar of it and put your other arm into it. Yeah. I practice it myself.
Mind blown. Very impressed.
It does look great. I see it all the time.
It does, and really, with that ruching detail into it, it just makes it really dressy. Going with a pencil skirt with it, it just brings it into your occasion wear wardrobe. Definitely, if you want to go with a skinny pair of black jeans, you can make it a little bit more casual for a night out, but I just love this. Lace overlay skirt, works really well, great length to the skirt. But lots of different things you could wear with this look. And then finishing it off with the shoes, we've gone with a court nude shoe, which you're going to get so much wear out of in your wardrobe.
Absolutely, and some earrings as well.
And then we've gone with a statement pair of their diamond shape earring there. Really great piece to add to your wardrobe.
Now, just challenge here.
Yes.
Can you just do it on Tommy? Can we get you to flip it?
I'm really excited to see what the next look is.
We've gone back basic with the next one. Don't get too excited. But what I would say, if you want to get this, you need to upsize in your shirt. So if you have an oversized shirt, do it with that. Don't go with your own size.
Oh, I'm struggling with this one now.
So we need to get a bigger one in for you.
Tight shirt's not going to work.
He doesn't know what oversized shirts are. He's never. What does that mean? I don't understand.
Finally, Danny, we're going back to, well, this is nice way of doing it.
We can do this.
We've gone back to basic just to show that it's this shirt, but we've tied it up. So we're still doing something different with it, which I think works really well for summer holidays. We've gone with the dress underneath it, so tying it in, it just makes it more casual. I think if you have a dress that maybe you've worn to an occasion this season, you can definitely, for summer holidays, make it a little bit more casual by ruching it up, tying it in the middle, and it's got to work. The dress
is beautiful. Beautiful
dress, perfect for your occasion wear wardrobe. You can see the fit and flare to the dress, lots of material. It's an A-line, full-length dress, pocket detail to it. I just think it's a beautiful piece.
And it's got kind of, it's not completely strappy. It does have a strap,
it does have it.
Shoes thin as well.
A thicker strap with it, and then we have gone.
Bag.
The bag here, baskety style clutch bag, but it's quite a statement clutch because it's oversized as well. And then with the shoes, we've kept it quite simple. With a strappy sandal here, with these shoes.
Absolutely beautiful. And then of course we've gone with the big glasses.
Yeah, we've gone with another statement pair of oversized glasses here. Really great piece, and bringing in the earrings there. So we've gone with a statement pair of earrings, which I think just transforms the outfit.
I love it. That dress is fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love the colour of it as well.
Yeah,
great colour to the dress. But with the shirts, like wearing it like this, you could do it with a pair of jeans, shorts. There's lots you can do with a white shirt. And it's all available at West End Shop Park in Blanchardstown.
Well, now that you've worn a shirt back to front, flipped upside down around the houses, what are we going to do next time?
Amazing. Yeah, fair play, Rob. Thank you very much.
I think we know what social media video we should be doing after the show.
I don't think so. Now, coming up next, the health benefits of honey. You don't want to miss it. See you shortly. You're very welcome back now with May being a busy month for the bees. This morning we're going to be learning about the health benefits of honey, but more so, herbal honey infusions.
Yes, joining us for a masterclass is forager Phoebe Foran. Hello, Phoebe.
Delighted to be here.
It's lovely to have you. We were there yesterday going, so we're having a bit of honey. What's a herbal infused honey?
Okay, so herbal infused honeys are taking your local honey and then adding extra little foraged elements into it so that you can get the health benefits pulled into the honey. So you can include that in your porridge in the morning, on your toast, or whatever way you love to eat your honey. You actually get the health benefits of it as well.
So you mentioned local honey though. That's first and foremost the most important thing.
I would always say stick with your local honey. I work with a guy who's up in Glenasmole, from Ollie's farm, and I would use his honey. Actually, this one here is made from bees that are kept down on the Bellegarde Road. So literally across the road. They couldn't be closer to here.
Yeah.
So working with bees from your local honey means that they are taking the pollen from your local area, which helps you in turn deal with your own histamine levels. So if you're someone who suffers with hay fever and such, it actually it sounds counterproductive, but it actually helps you to balance yourself better.
Yeah, because they're working with the things that they're taking in from nature around that we are breathing in every day.
Working with your local pollen,
It's so interesting. So
coughs and colds, we have to start with that, surely.
Well, yeah, we can start with that because everyone at the moment is coughing and spluttering all over the place. And at least I can show you how to make this one.
Okay, we're going to learn how to make this one. What do we do?
So this one is actually made with elderflower. Now, we know yourself, elderflower is starting to come out into season at the moment. It's a little bit early, but it's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And elderflower, most people don't realise, can actually break a fever.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fantastic plant for that. So if you've ever had your fever tree tonic, that's named after elderflower because it's a fever tree. But also it's fantastic for your... I know, it all clicks into place. This is great for your respiratory system. Absolutely fantastic. So if you're someone who is suffering with the bronchioles or anything like that, you can actually use this. So...
And where did you pick this?
I literally picked that from right over there.
Over there.
So would you put this, so say you put some honey into some hot water, and then would you just throw some elderflower in it as well?
You can, absolutely. But to make a honey infusion, all you do is you dunk that in, dunk your little elderflowers into it, and then I'd also add in these gorgeous red clovers that are starting to appear all over the place. Yeah, a weed. People see these things and think they're a weed. These are a absolutely fantastic plant. One, they're called an expectorant. They help you to cough everything up. So if you've got mucus or bits in your nose, this will help you to get it all up. But also, particularly for female hormones, this is a fantastic one for helping to balance. So for perimenopause, menopausal, all these complaints that you hear that there's lacks of HRT and stuff like that going, these are a fantastic plant for women.
How much do you put in?
I
do you put the leaves, the whole lot?
5 or 6 of them, just the heads. You can throw in the leaves as well.
And how long do you infuse them for?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
And then you just close it over?
You just pour your honey on top, cover them all over, and then seal it up. Lovely, 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 lovely.
Yeah.
Until all the honey is covered, the plant. And then once it's all covered, you're just going to seal her up and leave her for about 2 weeks, and then you get to enjoy it then.
And then what? You just say, do you have to take the plants out after, or you just keep on going?
You can. It's completely up to you.
Or you don't have to.
Or you don't have to. I like to leave the bits in, to be honest.
I love it. What's this feel-good honey?
This is an immune system boosting honey. So we all need that. You know, everybody's always suffering with something. It's great to have something to boost you up. So with this one here, I've included some dandelions, which are fantastic for your liver, your pancreas, and your kidneys. Just helps everything to be supported.
And they're everywhere.
And they're everywhere. Our tiny little daisies, one of my favourites. These are known as the poor man's arnica. They will help to heal you from the inside out. So fantastic one to throw in as well. And these guys here, which are now appearing...
nettles?
Oh, no. These little blue ones, these are called Speedwell. Okay. And if you look at them, what the name is, Speedwell, it speeds you to wellness.
Right.
So a fantastic one to add in. So the same jobby again, throw in a handful of each, cover with your honey, and
literally etymology, like what words mean. They do exactly what they say in the tin.
Absolutely.
That is amazing.
Here's a good one for the moment then as well. Hay fever.
Everyone is smothering at the moment. Hay fever, the pollen is crazy at the moment. Nettle is one of the best plants for anybody who's suffering with hay fever. This is the plant to go towards. But I've also...
that is nettles, so you just got to be careful.
These are nettles, yeah. You can...
are they stingers?
They are stingers, but I'm a bit kind of used to them.
I was just about to say,
once you go purposely to pick them up, I find you don't get stung.
Yeah.
It's just when you rub off them, they sting you.
They know as well.
Oh, they know, okay.
They know. But I've also teamed these up with some rosemary blossom. So you'll see your rosemary in your garden, if you're growing herbs at the moment, have these lovely little blossoms on it.
Oh. Yeah.
But you can put in the little sprigs as well. This actually helps to bring up mucus as well. So if you are a hay fever person and you're all congested in your head, this is going to help to clear that down.
How long would that last for? So if I had that full jar?
It will last you for a year, 2 years.
Oh, would it? Right.
So
once you've infused it, you can eat it any time?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use that all through the winter. So like that again, if you've got coughs and colds in the winter, make it now, and then you have it in your...
And it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks is all it is.
I'm going to try this one.
You do this one.
This one's an elderflower one that I infused a while back. You'll taste the difference. Can you taste the elderflower in it?
You're going to be speaking on stage at the Board Be a Bloom Festival, 1st to 5th of June.
Yes, I am delighted. I'm part of the lineup for the Sustainable Living and the Garden Expert stages. So I'm thrilled to be involved.
An absolute fountain of knowledge. Foraging Phoebe, found her there.
Thank you very much. Coming up tomorrow, we are going to be talking to the likes of Peaky Blinders, Ripper Street actress. Oh, Charlene McKenna's going to be here. Looking forward to catching up with her.
Catherine Layden, news, sport, weather. Bye.
See ya.